So in most cases, when you work out your website, you end up creating something which looks like what I have on my screen. It's basically a super simplified overview of the sitemap of your website, which could be, your domain with their respected pages below it. So if you think about it from a very simplistic standpoint, the main elements, the main pages you will have will be the home page, about page, work, and contact. Similar things, right? It usually comes down to this type of pages when it comes to agency websites and professional service-based businesses. Now what I'm going to talk about in this video is I'm going to show you all kind of different pages that you can add on your website. Now these different pages have different purposes, but there's something consistent with it, which is that you get more out of your website. So this is something you can apply which will instantly give you more benefits and more value and actually allows you to use more out of the website you have. Like, of course, what I have on my screen doesn't cover everything. It doesn't cover the policy pages. It doesn't cover any e-commerce functionalities you might have and so on. But just when we look at simple static pages, I'll show you a few ones that we can add to get more out of your website. Now, there's a few different focuses for that. For example, a few pages we can add will be an FAQ, a testimonials page, even a help page. This is more focused on actually having a better user experience for people who do visit your site. There's also some pages which are more SEO related when it comes to, for example, a blog, which I think you should always add, a portfolio, case studies, and so on. And there's also pages we can use to increase conversions, which can be, for example, a direct page dedicated for people to subscribe to your newsletter, a specific page where people can schedule a call and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out those pages and just show you how to do it very simplistically, very straightforward. And that way you can just have that built out or build it yourself and you can get more out of your site. Now, if you look at this main foundational stack, let's say, what I always suggest adding is a blog. The blog page is super beneficial. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I have another video covering exactly how you can maximize the use of your blog. However, a blog allows you to have more of information. It's super good for SEO, ranking, credibility, and all that sort of stuff. So I would always add that here. Now, when it comes to other elements, essentially, there's different pages which a lot of people just do not think about right away, which are super great to add. Now, for example, I'm going to start it how to at the beginning. So a lot of people tend to work out an about page, which is of course a great idea. Something you can implement, which is something I just brought up myself and I think it's great, is to make a personal about page. Now, if you're not building out a personal website, you could just choose to make a personal about page. Now, this, for example, would be your main company website where you have a page dedicated to you as yourself as the founder, CEO, or whatever it is. It could just be an extra step you can take just to have more of a personal introduction for yourself as your role, which could be great if you're not looking to build out a whole personal site for yourself. Now, that personal site is just a very small thing. Alright, now if you're talking about as well, something which you can share more about your company, who you are, could be a page dedicated to your core values. Of course, you can choose to put this inside of your main about page, similar as to the personal about. However, this could just be a way to add more into it. Personally, I have it on my website too, but the way I use it is actually for sales. It's very normal for people to ask questions when they're looking to buy our service. So they might ask things as, hey, how long will it take and stuff like that. So I have a dedicated page of our core values, and one of them is speed. So if I have a conversation with an ongoing prospect or lead or client even, I can just say speed first, super important. You can even see it on the website, it's our core values. So it doesn't necessarily even have to be visible. It can just be a way for you to share it. Something I really like to do as well is to have a specific page dedicated for people just to call. This will be just a meeting booking page. Instead of just sending over your raw Calendly link, just send over a page with the embed or just with whatever schedule tool you use. That way it just increases the overall professionality. So this could be a call page. I'll show you a great example of that, which is what I use on my own website, which is the call page. I literally have a nice picture of myself with the schedule functionalities here, as well as just some quick features I've been in some articles. So this is a super great way to enhance the way people schedule calls with you as well. Similar to contact and about, something super easy to implement as well as a link page. A lot of people tend to use a Linktree or some sort of tool where you can just put in all your links and it creates this web page. However, if you already have a website, why do you not just create a link from literally your website name.com/link and just put all your links there? That way it's more professional, you own the search result and everything is just there in your own control. Plus it looks a lot nicer in your social media bio. Alright, so these are just quick things just to show you what you can do to really maximize your actual pages and the uses of your website. And just put in mind, creating all these pages doesn't mean you have to create one huge navigation where people have to see everything and they're super overwhelmed. No, you can just leverage this to put it in your site. Maybe you just even put it visible. You can put it somewhere down. You can put it just for certain use in social media campaigns or personal communication. It just really gives you the opportunity to maximize the usage of your site. Now, some other quick things that I'll go add here in the bottom as well might be, for example, the FAQ. You can, if you have a lot of type of questions specifically for e-commerce or stuff like that, you could choose to just add a dedicated page for that as well. If your company is a bit more established, you could also have a specific media/press page, which works super well if you do have some articles or other press to talk about. Really, something that a lot of companies overlook as well is to create a page dedicated for jobs. If you're hiring for employees, you can just create a dedicated jobs page where people can actually visit what open jobs you're looking for. It also gives you more of a bigger, broader impression for people who do visit your website. So just building out a page and having an overview of the titles you're looking for can already be a big step without it being too much work to actually build out pages dedicated for each role. You can just have a simple page with all the different roles you have, and that will be it. Or you can have more of a general approach where people can directly apply if they're interested to join your company. Outside of your internal business side, you also want to think how you can get more of your website to serve your customers better. And this is of course to make more sales, but as well as to enhance the customer experience of people you work with. Something we super actively use on our site and we recommend our clients to use as well is to use onboarding forms. You can just create a page for pretty much everything, meaning whenever you do onboard a client, you can just create a website page on your own website with a form where you ask all the information you want them to give to you. For example, when we start a new website project for a client, we send them to a page on our website where they can fill in basic questions we will ask everybody. And this will allow you to have a super smooth experience for us and organize it as well as have more credibility. So onboarding form is definitely something I always suggest. Something which is super great as well is just have one big page with all your testimonials and reviews. If you have a lot of testimonials, you have a lot of reviews, it could really work well. On top of that, you can even create a dedicated page for people to write a testimonial where they can actually fill in a form or whatever and submit their testimonial as well on your website. Something you can also do is to choose to have a help/support page where people can have just a dedicated page for all the things they might want to look for. This help page could essentially be one page with an overview of different sections and you lead them to other pages. For example, you can lead them to the FAQ, the contact form, and so on. Another great element to use is projects. Especially if you're doing something digitalized or even construction type of businesses or whatever it might be, if you can showcase the work you do, people will like that. So creating a dedicated page for all your projects will be super great. You can even highlight specific case studies on specific pages to really expand on that. However, just having that dedicated page will also be super great. Just to give you a different overview, here's what it could look like to expand upon all the pages you will normally have and really maximize the usage of your website. Now the reason you want to do this is obviously to get more out of your site, and there's a few main benefits you get out of them. The first is SEO, then it is user experience, credibility, and conversions.